Board of Zoning Appeals at this time. Zoning Administrator.
Yes, roll call. Board Member Watts.
Here.
Board Member McCoy.
Here.
And Board Member Josek has recused himself from this hearing.
Okay, this is case number A233, a request by Thomas and Lauren Breeke for a variance reducing the required side yard setback for a swimming pool in a residential zoning district at 4020 Champion Tree Road. All persons are reminded that this session is being recorded on tape as required by law for the preservation of records, and are asked when called upon to step forward, give your name, address, and general description of your interest in the relationship to their property, to the relationship of their property to the subject property. Okay, Zoning Administrator.
Alrighty. An application for a Board of Zoning Appeals hearing from Thomas and Lauren Breeke was received by the Town of Hampstead on August 14th, 2023. A date of September 25th was set for the hearing. Notification letters to adjacent and adjoining neighbors were sent on September 11th, and a public notice announcing the hearing was published in the Carroll County Times on August 31st and September 7th. Due to a scheduling conflict, the hearing had to be rescheduled. A new date of October 5th was set. A second set of notification letters were sent on September 11th, and public notices announcing the rescheduling were published in the Carroll County Times on September 14th and 21st. A sign publicizing the hearing was posted on the appellant's property on September 18th. Received with the appellant's application were 5 letters of support. The town has since received 3 additional letters of support and 2 phone calls, one from a Shelley Chrysler and one from Kyle Brooks. The documents described above make up the official record of case A233. In addition, a Board of Zoning Appeals hearing normally is heard by 3 board members, with a majority vote ruling. In this case, a board member having to recuse themselves and no alternate currently serving in that position with the town. The appellant was given the opportunity to delay this hearing until an alternate could be found. The appellant stated that he would like to proceed with 2 board members present. And that is the official record of case A233.
Okay, so if there are no objections, the documents provided will be entered into the record of the hearing. No objections? Okay. Zoning Administrator, you want to outline the case and make any statement on behalf of the town?
Sure. So case A233 is a request by Thomas and Laura Breeke for a variance reducing the required side yard setback for a swimming pool in a residential zoning district at 4020 Champion Tree Road. This property is in the R40,000 zoning district. The owner of the parcel would like to build a 18-foot by 40-foot pool in the backyard of their property. The pool will be built within a 1,166 square foot patio that the appellant is also proposing to build. The pool and patio will be enclosed with a proposed 4-foot fence with self-latching gates. The Hampstead Town Code has zoning regulations for accessory buildings and structures. For a swimming pool, the regulations are that the pool, the decking, pool filter and pump, and any storage buildings must be at least 10 feet from any side or rear property line. In the case of a corner lot or multiple frontage lot, the pool cannot be placed in the street yard setback. Additionally, a private swimming pool may not be placed in a septic replacement area. In the Breeke's proposed plan, the pool and patio are not located in a septic replacement area and meet the 10-foot requirement for the rear yard setback. The pool or deck are not proposed to go into any easement which would prohibit the construction. The pool itself is 10 feet from the side lot line, but the patio would extend 3 feet into the required setback. The appellants are requesting a variance to reduce the side yard setback from 10 feet to 7 feet. There is nothing in the town code to prohibit this variance, and it is the recommendation of the zoning administrator to defer to the board's judgment for the case decision.
Okay, so the board will hear the petition of the appellant and notes that the appellant has requested a variance. So if you'd like to step forward and state your name and
Thomas Brady, 4020 Champion Tree Road, Hampstead, Maryland 21074. Can I pass these out? Here.
Thank you.
thank you.
Let it be stated that Mr. Brakey handed the board and myself a presentation for his case, and it will be entered into the official record of case A233.
Is this the good positioning for the next one right here?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. So, thank you all for the time this evening. As we kick off, just wanted to kind of introduce myself and my family, but first, I serve on a lot of community boards, and I know it takes away from your families and your personal lives, so I know there's certainly better things you could be doing on a Thursday evening, so we definitely appreciate the time. Who we are, my wife and I were both born and raised in Hampstead, graduates of North Carroll. My dad was a longtime business owner here in Hampstead since the mid-'80s. Mom's a nurse. We'll roll through these intro slides real quick, just a snapshot of our clan there. My community involvement, just a little bit of background on what we do and our kids, and kind of painting the picture of that we would never do anything or propose anything that would be to the detriment of the community. Over the last 10 years, donated more than 1,300 hours of my time to coach North Carroll sports, be involved in various civic organizations, board member of the Carroll County Y in Westminster, as well as the Association Y, as well as on the Olney Boys and Girls Club in Montgomery County, and have worked for a nonprofit since 2008. On to the Why a Pool slide. So when we moved back here from school, my wife and I lived in Hanover, Pennsylvania for about 7 years with our kids in a townhouse. And from day one, we had a kiddie pool in the side yard. And the kids were always talking about, when are we going to get a pool? When are we going to get a pool? In 2015, we finally sold that house, moved in with my parents down here while we built our house, and since then have been saving. And so, now that we're in our forever house, we're excited to finally have that nest egg to be able to hopefully move forward with this. But that's kind of the background on why our family is so excited about the opportunity to get a pool. The proposed plan, you can see that Mr. Rourke was outlining. Just thought it'd be helpful to give a bird's eye view of the actual plan proposal itself, and he outlined all of the particulars, but just a snapshot of that illustrates that 3-foot patio. And on the next slide, nature of variance request just zooms in and points out an arrow specifically where that variance request is to be 7 feet from the property line versus 10 feet with that the patio. And again, another bird's eye view of the lot and how it's kind of dark, but in purple you can see of the rough area of where the pool would be in relation to our neighbors in the community. And you can see most of our lots are about an acre, and we'll get into a little bit of the hardship piece here in the next couple of slides, but thought this was important just to show we're not a very tightly packed community where we're on top of each other. We're being able to do this would be a significant burden on any of our neighbors. The purpose of the variance request, I've just highlighted a couple of areas from the town code in terms of practical difficulty, creating an unreasonable hardship, and then granting it without substantial injury to the public health, safety, and general welfare. And I'll touch on each one of these. So in terms of practical difficulty, the septic fields in our neighborhood were put in, and the septics were put in years before anyone started building in the community. And it's pretty universal in our neighborhood that the septics are not, and the septic fields are not conducive to pools by and large. And so there's not a whole lot of options in terms of where pools can go on the properties in our neighborhood. So that's what we're really looking at as the pure practical difficulty. There's literally nowhere else a pool could go, and creates more than a practical difficulty. It's literally impossible for a pool to go anywhere else. And on the last page of, the slide deck, I've got a copy of our site plan from a high level, on the very last page that outlines where our septic field is, and, this is not unique to us. Virtually the entire neighborhood, has this, and so one might say, why'd you pick a site that had a lot like that? This was the most rectangular site and still had a small rectangular area for a pool to go. So you can see there's literally nowhere else given the septic field for a pool to go. Again, that just highlights the unreasonable hardship that we're facing in terms of where to put one. And then on the point around without substantial injury to public health, safety, and general welfare, as I mentioned earlier, the well-being of our community is always paramount. Hopefully, the support of the many phone calls and letters and our neighbors here this evening in support will illustrate that as well. But again, we would not do anything that would jeopardize the welfare of our community. The Oakmont Overlook community is very tight-knit, and we care deeply for our neighbors. And as illustrated on the bird's eye view from Google Maps that you saw on a prior slide, the proposed patio would be between 100 and 125 feet from our closest neighbor's house. So again, just the positioning of the immediate house adjacent to us is such that we feel like, again, no impact to public welfare or safety, just given the distance to the closest house. In terms of precedent with setbacks, just reviewing some of the prior meeting minutes, and I know each case is unique, and you need to handle each case in its own unique way and set of circumstances. Just noting the setback requests that were made in the past couple of years with specific case numbers. And the precedent being when these three or four conditions are met around hardship, no injury to or impact to public safety or welfare, and a hardship that the board is objective and aligns with the rules around that. So felt like important to highlight those precedents as well. A lot of similarities with our case here. And then lastly, support from our neighbors again, which I've already mentioned and Mr. Rourke has mentioned, that are added to the meeting minutes around phone calls and letters of support and some of my neighbors here this evening. So again, just to recap briefly, we're part of this community. We're interwoven into the fabric of the Hampstead community as well as our Oakmont Overlook community. We would never propose something that would be to the detriment of our neighbors' property values or their kids or anyone in our neighborhood. So to make that, again, just underscore that, the practical difficulty and unreasonable hardship due to the septic field location and an inability for the pool to go anywhere else on the property, no impact to public health, safety, or general welfare, and again, as Mr. Rourke outlined, requesting approval of a 7 foot from the property line versus 10 feet, given the immaterial difference of 3 feet when looking at 100 to 125 feet from the closest house. So, and that concludes my presentation.
Thank you.
Okay, so can we ask some questions?
Sure.
Great, thank you. So just in looking at this, the pool could not go 3 feet to the left, is that correct?
So the pool, which slide do you want?
So I'm looking at this, right?
Right.
And here's the pool, so
Yes.
it would not be able to go 3 feet to the left.
We start to get a bit close to the septic field, as I understand from our builder.
So what is the requirement for the distance from the septic fields?
The town's requirement is it cannot be built in a septic field. The health department of Carroll County may have different standards,
Right.
which would be something that would come with Carroll County in the building permit application.
So there's not a distance requirement, it's just as long as it's not in the septic field, is that correct?
Carroll County has a distance requirement, which I don't
Oh,
have
they
off the
do.
top of my head. But,
Okay, but they do have.
They do.
Okay.
I'd be throwing out a guess if I threw out a number, but they do have.
No, that's
a
okay.
distance.
Okay, so then, and then the size of the deck, so the left-hand size of the deck is wider than the right-hand side, is that correct?
Correct, the right-hand side on that east side is just your standard minimal 3-foot.
Okay.
Whereas the other side, we opted to do that to keep the larger part of the patio close to the original patio that you already see on the back of the house. And then on that far side, just having that standard 3-foot minimal traditional decking.
And then what is the size of the deck on the left-hand side? Is that 6 feet?
The size of, it's between 6 and 10 feet, I believe. I don't have the exact dimensions on me, I apologize.
That's fine. Okay. Yeah, so that was my question. The septic system, the size of the deck, and the pool. Okay, do you have any?
I was wondering about the 4-foot fence.
Mhm.
What kind of fence is that gonna be, a privacy fence, or is it wood, or like, can you
would
give me more
be-
information about the fence?
It would be your traditional, not a privacy fence, like the black, not wrought iron, not
Right,
traditional
like
wrought iron,
iron, like-
but yeah, yeah.
And that is a requirement with the pool, correct?
Yes, and that meets the county guidelines.
That's my only question.
Okay. Okay, thank you, I appreciate that. So at this time, I would like to invite public comment for anyone in attendance that does not support the appellant's petition. Okay, if you could just stand forward and state your name, that'd be great.
I live at the residence, she owns it too. Hold on. My name is Lindsay Coyote.
Mrs. Keough, if you could come over in the center. Yep.
You need my address also.
Yes, please.
4032 Champion Tree Road.
Right here.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I don't have anything fancy for you, I'm a teacher of Carroll County, I leave all that in the classroom. I wouldn't deny anybody a pool. My children are swim team, they teach swim lessons during the summer. What I don't like about this plan, it is on my property line. It is not only on my property line, it is the noise that comes from this. And I know we are only talking 3 foot, how can that be, how are we, the noise differential with that? It has been a big problem over there. First of all, I have had to address kids running through my backyard at all hours of the night. We had to put it on Oakmont Overlook. Their kids are involved. To say, please do not run through my backyard because my dogs will come eat you because they're protecting my house. It didn't stop. This summer, at the beginning of the summer, I had to go over to Mr. Brakey and say, can you please tell your children to stop ding-dong ditching my house? They've been doing it for years.
To stop what?
Ding-dong ditching my house.
What, I don't know what that is.
Where they ring the doorbell, jump off the front porch, ruin my flower beds, and run. And they do it consistently. And I'm painting this picture for you because, as he said, he coaches sports teams. We put a pool there. We're gonna have the sports teams over. This is what I have been dealing with. This is where the kids of the neighborhood hang out. It is going to be, he said there's no hazards to the safety and all of that. Why wouldn't we? Hardship. It is a hardship. It's been a hardship of what I have already dealt with. We put a pool there. It's going to increase the hardship. Them playing basketball till 11:30 at night. There is no time considerations whatsoever with the noise out there. I stick a pool there. I got half of Hampstead on my property line with my house. And I don't know where he got these numbers from because there is nothing that tells me where are we getting 122 feet that my house sits from the property line. The Coyote home is compared to the proposed 122 feet from the Coyote home. This 3-foot difference is the broader picture where it wouldn't make a difference. I don't know where these numbers came from. There's nothing that's attached to see where you pulled them from. I can also tell you the one picture I have, this just paints the picture of what I've dealt with and partially why I'm against this. I walk my dogs a lot. There is, near our property line, there is a do not park on the grass because of the drainage type that we have. And my dogs come in the hill, my dogs always pee at that pole. There was a bunch of kids, including their children. A lot of the kids hang out right there. They hang out at the garage there, the basketball net's there. Everything they do is right on that property line. And the kids were hanging out there, my dogs pee. One little girl came up to me and said, "You so-and-so," I'm talking to her. And next thing I know, a football is thrown at my head. And I said, "You kids can get all your stuff off my property," because I got bikes on my property. I got all this stuff on my property. I was ostracized for it, and I continued walking. Well, I took a picture right outside my bedroom window of all the kids standing around, hanging around, because as soon as I said that, then all of the neighborhood kids come out. Miss Coyote's the meanest person in the world. By a football.
Ms. Coyote, how many pictures do you intend to enter?
Just 3 or 4. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4. Let it be known that there are 4 photographs that.
So
Ms.
that was
Coyote's
one of the
entered.
kids. I'm sorry.
Can we see the photograph?
Yep. I'm sorry.
It just paints a picture of the amount of noise that this draws to it. The sports, we are going to have a lot of children being in this pool. I guess the other thing is with the dry septics, has there been, and really this is a question for Mr. Brady and his wife, I don't know if there has been any thought about problem solving. Have they tried to redraw them? Have they tried to, redo them in any way? There is some on the back end of the property, from what I understand. There is some space where there isn't dry septic. Has there been any problem solving other than we're gonna land the pool right on the property line? Miss Coyote has trees there, so this will be perfect. She put trees up along the property line, so it's already has a barrier. It's got a privacy there, so they won't see us. I didn't put that privacy of trees there for them. I put that privacy of trees there because of the sound that comes from over there, so I don't have to hear basketballs constantly bouncing. And because there was another neighbor in the neighborhood who, with me being a teacher, I taught the child, he submitted a picture to me as an assignment, which went right into my windows of my daughter's bedroom. That's why the trees are there. Trees aren't there for their use. It's there for our use. And the trees are not going to help block this pool being so close to the property line. Which brings me to another picture. Actually, 2 of them. So, the first one, I am on my deck, and as you can see from my deck, where they would like to place the pool is approximately where this trampoline is, but closer in towards the trees. These trees, here's another one where I'm on the deck. These trees do not block, which was one of the reasons why they thought. If, oh, well, Miss Katie put them, so that's great. Yeah, existing planted trees. are immediately on the other side. My other thing is I think this is very premature. I think we are here prematurely. Because as we were looking at the measurements, my mom and I went out and, 10 foot versus 7 foot, what does that look like? Where exactly is this property line? Because it hasn't been surveyed. Nothing's been surveyed.
So can I ask you, you started talking and you said that it was going on your property. So it's not going
It's
on?
not, it is, I can give you this one. This is 7 foot, what it would be, 7 foot. So
But it's
we're-
not actually on your property?
It's not actually on it, we're like, well, I'm 5 foot tall, so.
Okay.
That's what we're looking at. If I go to my shed, now they've played the lacrosse and all that right there. I have seen them, the ball goes over to my yard, great, come over to get it, no problem. But no, they got to throw the ball over the trees, throw the ball around the trees, throw the ball, we're going to have a lot of that when it comes to a pool. So when, that was part of my thing where they say it's not a hardship, well, it is a hardship. I'd like to sleep. I think this is going to bring a lot of noise. I think more noise than what I have going on, especially with the sports parties. I know it's only 3 foot. A lot of people say, what's 3 foot? It must be something because he paid over $300 to bring all this to you guys. It must be something. I really do think that before we move forward, we need a survey. And we need to really look at where's the property line, where exactly are things, how close is it truly to my house?
Can I ask a question that maybe you can answer? How do you do something like this if the property's never been surveyed?
That is a survey that was done by CLSI, which is Carroll Land Services. And it was done in 2016, so this was actually done at the time of construction.
Yes.
So this is a survey,
Yes, this is.
but
There
you didn't
should
live there at
be-
the time.
Now, there
I
should be,
purchased December 2016.
posts in the corners of the lot. I don't know if anyone's ever explored that or not.
We just cut the grass based on it's like 4 lots that come together, and there's a thing in the center, so we just cut down where we all kind of meet in that center. Which brings me to one of my last points is a lot of people in the neighborhood, he got to write letters. I don't feel any of that is relevant. I'm the only one who this affects. It is my property that butts up to it. Some of these other people live in other courts. It doesn't. It's only my property that butts up to it. I don't feel that. The Chryslers are the other ones whose property butts up to it. The Creebies have a little piece that butts up, but other than that, it doesn't affect.
Okay,
Any questions?
I don't. Thank you.
I don't have any other
I
questions.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if my mom has anything to add.
I don't have any
If you
kind of
could just
paperwork.
state your name
Sharon Quixote,
and,
and I don't have any kind of paperwork. But I would like to say that my bedroom is down the stairs on the first floor, and it faces right into that pool. Right now, I sleep with a white noise machine to try to block out a lot of the noise. And I know a lot of the kids are during the day and whatever, but if I want to take a nap, I put it on, I don't care. But do you have a generator that you use to
If-
your electric
if you
car?
could just
Oh,
address the
okay. I don't know
board,
if he has
thank
a
you.
generator when it's hot to do your electric car sometimes at night,
Okay,
you know?
we're not, if you could just address your comments to
Okay.
us
But
and,
my bedroom is there, and all the neighbors that wrote letters, they wouldn't want it either, I can tell you, because they have complained, the one neighbor complained that when the kids got off the bus, they walked up her hill and her dogs were barking and she couldn't concentrate. The other neighbor complained that the lady across the street, her kid walked through her lawn after he And when they were riding their bikes, they walked their bikes through her lawn. And the one boy off of the school bus walked through her lawn. She complained. So none of those people that sent letters saying how great they are and how great this pool is going to be affected by it, just us. We have 2 pools in the neighborhood. They're not nowhere near the property lines of the other families or other houses. So I'm not against a pool. I don't care if they want a pool or not. It's where they want it. They have an acre of ground. Everything they do is on a 1/4 acre on the side of their house, comes right down on their property line. They have lacrosse equipment hanging out near their shed. They have badminton, soccer equipment hanging out. Underneath their trampoline is weeds that they never cut. So if they put a fence there, are they gonna take care of it, maintain it? Because they surely don't underneath their trampoline now. We go out on their deck, I can hear them talk on their patio. So as the noise travels. So I think this, and we can see right into the pool from the, sitting on our deck. And that's just my opinion.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that. Okay, so I would like to invite any comment for those that support the appellant's petition. If you could state your name and address, I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely. Good evening, Matthew Herf. I'm a neighbor of the Breakies. My lot is located at 2088 Mountain Ash Court, and on the Oakland Overlook plat, I'm lot 325. So I'm somewhat across Champion Tree Road and uphill from the Quixote property and from the Breakie property. Just like to say that the Breakies are excellent neighbors, very involved in the community, and I certainly have no complaints about them as neighbors. My backyard looks down towards this project, and so we, would have a high line view towards the project. We certainly have no objection to the pool coming in. I'll note, because I bought at or about the same time as the Breakies, I know that we really, as homeowners, didn't really have any say in where the septic system was. It was already laid out when we moved in. We didn't really even have any say on how our homes were situated on the property. So we couldn't say to the builder, we'd like our home rotated or moved in a different direction. It was just kind of like, that's where you are. So we do have those practical difficulties with the septic system and the layout of where our homes could be. I also note if you're coming into Oakmont, the Breakies property is on the corner of probably the busiest intersection in the neighborhood. So I understand that'll probably limit what they can do in terms of layout as well. So, but again, it's an excellent neighborhood. I think for the most part, everyone gets along really well, and it's a nice place to live and raise our kids. So I have no objection to the project of the Breakies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Say something else. Do I not have another turn? Can I say something?
As an attorney, I don't know if that's appropriate.
Yeah.
I don't think we can go backwards in the process.
You had your,
You had your chance, they said no.
Is there, oh, thank you. Can you state your name? and-
Yes, Jason Butterhoff, and I'm at 2124 Gallery Court.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see it. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so, we all built our homes at the same time. When I open my front door, I can see their house across the street. They're probably one of the closest homes to me. I actually just built the pool last a year, so I know how hard it can be to try to build your dream pool and have it just right. So I can sympathize with them. 3 feet to me seems like not a big deal. It's a neighborhood full of kids, there's pretty much a noise at all times, all over the place. You can't really avoid it. My next door neighbors are the Greenwoods. They're also extremely into sports. They have kids constantly. They're making a noise. Oh, but it's a neighborhood. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't see the big deal. And they've been great. I don't mind looking at the pool. I mean, and it's a great neighborhood to raise kids and to have a pool too. It just like makes it even better. I guess that's all I have to say.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Okay, so, Mr. Brakey, at this time, if you'd like to add rebuttal, you're welcome to.
Okay, thank you. I guess, in light of what Mr. Herf and Mr. Butterhoff said in support, and Ms. Coyote in terms of the Chryslers and the Creebies, who also adjoin our property on the back end of the property, and then at the corner, we'd just like it in the minutes that both the Creebies and the Chryslers wrote in support of this project, so we do have adjoining properties that are in support. Best thing I can say in rebuttal is that would just reiterate the facts versus opinion in terms of what's been outlined this evening in terms of the rules of the variance that I feel like we've very clearly met. And that's the best thing I can do at this point is ask for the board to stick to the facts versus opinions.
So can I ask a question?
Sure.
So you're removing the trampoline, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Because that wouldn't be able to sit there.
We're going to bulk trash in 2 weeks.
Okay. Is there, so you have a homeowners association?
No, ma'am.
Oh, you do not, okay. So there is no, like, time at which noise has to be, like, you don't have a cutoff time for noise or like 10, 11 o'clock? You
Isn't
don't,
that a town ordinance,
There's a
Jim?
town ordinance around it.
is there, and what time is that?
Quiet time starts at 10 p.m. during the week, and on the weekends, it is 11 p.m.
Okay. Okay,
I actually have a
go ahead.
question.
Yep.
In looking at this, the pool that you're building is 18 by 40.
Yes, ma'am.
And forgive me, I don't know anything about pools, so if you want to come build one in my yard, that'd be great, but I don't have a pool.
That's what I rely on the builder for. I don't.
Did you look at doing a 15 by 40 pool just to gain the 3 feet, or are they standard sizes?
So there, to be honest, there is flexibility in terms of how you can build it. I think with the amount of money, especially these days, that it takes to build a pool, and for the years we've been saving, and as I mentioned earlier, what it took to get us onto the property that we're on now, as well as to save to build it. You know, from if anyone puts themselves in our shoes, you say, how much for the rules that are outlined in the town zoning rules, how much should we really trim the pool based on, you know, a couple of feet here or there versus let's try to build our dream pool and within the rules, and if we need to go to the town with a small variance, then that's what we'll have to do. So to answer your question, I'd be lying if I said no, this is like a standard size, this is what you have to do. You can build a smaller pool. That is possible.
So
But-
you don't want to give up the 3 feet? Okay.
And just again, sticking to the facts earlier, to your question on only address the question on quiet time. As Mr. Butterhoff said, we've probably got almost 24 kids in the neighborhood. And so, to pin noise on to assume that all of the noise in the neighborhood comes from my 3 kids, as Mr. Butterhoff said, there's kids of all ages constantly running through the neighborhood. That's not something that we can be responsible for in terms of other than my three.
Okay, no, I just meant in terms of like a pool party, it would have to
I
be
see.
done by 10 during
Right.
the week and 11. That's
Right.
what I'm asking.
Got it,
Yeah, I
okay.
would never
Okay.
expect you to be able to control all the noise in the
Okay,
neighborhood.
got it. Thank you for clarifying. I just wanted to speak to that. I wasn't sure if that was.
No,
the
no,
nature
no,
of the
no.
question.
I
Okay.
just, that
Thank you.
was, yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Sure.
Glad I could clarify.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so at this time, I'd like to close, and you're done? Miss, did you want to say anything?
I think he said it all.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, I'd like to end the public comment period, and we will open for deliberation. Deliberations are out in the open, so we can start.
Do you have anything to say, or do you want me to say what I have to say?
Go ahead, you can start. Oh, can I get these pictures back? I want to make sure that they get put in the record.
Thank you.
So I'm looking for do we have a definition of the hardship? Is there a definition for that?
There's not really a definition, and basically, if you look under the deliberations, it is in general
I've got so many pieces of paper here.
on page 2 of the
Oh,
process.
Here.
It is simply stated, for granted variance has been unwarranted hardship.
Okay, so in my opinion, there's a 3-foot, you can make the pool 3 foot smaller. You're asking your neighbor to give up 3 foot, but you don't wanna give up 3 foot, and in my opinion, that's not fair. That's just my opinion. You know, you don't have to have an 18-foot pool, but you're asking your neighbor to have the pool 3 foot. You're asking them to give up the variance, you're asking everyone to give up the variance,
but you're talking to
but
me.
you don't, huh?
We're talking.
Oh, oh. Well, okay. They don't want to give up the 3 foot of the pool, but they're claiming a hardship on the variance. But there's not a hardship. You can just do a 3 foot smaller pool, and then you don't have a hardship. The hardship's resolved. So I'd like to have a 5,000 square foot house, but I don't. You know, I mean, it just doesn't fit on my lot. So I mean, I feel like that's where I get a little bit stuck. Is that the pool does not have to be an 18-foot wide pool.
Or the deck doesn't have to be the size it is. The deck could be smaller on the left-hand side, right?
And then the pool shifted this way, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's a solution too. But yeah, I realize there has to be some deck on this side. But yes, the pool, if you want to keep an 18-foot pool, why couldn't the pool just come over this way 3 feet?
But that's what I asked. Is the pool able to be moved 3 feet to the left?
But hold on a second. Let me talk this through for a minute, make sure that I understand. Even if you move this pool 3 foot to the left, this deck, then you're saying then you should you
The
make
deck
the deck
would move
smaller
too.
on this
No,
side.
no. I mean, if you can move this 3 feet to the whole thing 3 feet to the left, then this is 10 feet.
But isn't this the house right here?
Yes.
I'm missing something.
Oh,
Because I don't
'cause
know how
then-
you would move it. It would
Oh.
be, it would be in the, be inside the house.
So-
but wait a second. But I'm sticking with you here. If you move this over 3 feet, 3 or 4 feet, then this can be cut smaller. Then you don't have that 3. You know what I mean? This doesn't have to go the whole way up to this line. I just am thinking there's other solutions here, which makes it not a hardship. That's just the way I'm.
Yeah, so I think that I think my thought process is whether the pool is here or 3 feet over, the concern about the children and the noise is not gonna change, right?
Right, not
You're
gonna
still gonna
change.
have
No,
noise, you're
that's-
still gonna
yeah.
have children, that 3 feet is not going,
No, it's not
it's
gonna
not
make a
gonna make a difference. If that is, if the concern, and if there's a fence, then that would keep the children inside of the yard. So
Right.
it's
Well,
not,
inside of I think the fence is just going around the pool. It's not gonna be the whole yard. I think the fence is just going around the deck.
okay, but if the fence is around the pool, then the students, sorry, then the kids are gonna be inside the pool and not on the property. And whether the pool was there or not, they still can access the property up here. So I'm just thinking that the pool, the 3 feet is not going to make a difference as to what the concerns are about the variance. The children are still gonna be able to run around the pool.
I agree.
And
Like,
there's
I
still
have
gonna be
to-
noise.
I have to take out, like, I have to pretend there's no kids there. It has
Okay.
nothing to do with it.
I know.
So, but is there a hardship? That's what I have to go back to. That's what the discussion is, right?
Right.
Is there a hardship? So, in my opinion, like, is the definition of a hardship, if we don't have this 3-foot variance, we cannot have a pool. That's a hardship. If you can't have the 3-foot variance, can they still have the pool?
I don't know, I didn't draw the plans.
Well, I'm saying you can make the pool 15 feet across, you can still have the pool. You know what I mean? So there's still, like, you know, there's, in my opinion, it appears as though there could be other solutions that make it not a hardship. The emotional part of it, I can't attach myself to, but I can just look at the hardship of, this is saying to me, if I don't get the 3-foot variance, I cannot have the pool.
Correct. And that's not the case.
And that's not the case.
Okay.
That's my opinion. I'm not telling you that, you know, if you disagree with me, then you need, you know, we can discuss that, but I think there's other options here. I think it's just like, you know, it's not a hardship just because that's what you want it to be. It has to be a hardship because there's no other way,
So I think.
right? I mean, I think that's the way I
No,
interpret the word
I
hardship.
absolutely hear what you're saying. I think it would be easier for me if I knew they couldn't move the pool 3 feet to the left.
Yeah, so we're saying.
So you're
we're looking
cutting
at two
off
different
the-
ways.
I
You
mean,
can
you're
make the
just
pool
cutting
smaller,
off
you
the
can move
deck.
pool. There's 2 different ways to go about it, but that means there's 2 solutions to this problem that mean you can get a 10-foot variance in there. So now there's 2 solutions. You can move the pool, or you can cut the pool by 3 feet. If 3 feet's not a lot, then cut the pool by 3 feet.
Well, 3 feet's a lot in a pool.
It is.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's a lot.
So,
You want
If I
to?
just interject for 1 second, it's my understanding that the pool cannot be moved to the left.
Okay.
Simply because of the required setback by the county for the distance, the setback to the septic area.
Okay, so that is what I
because
didn't
of this
understand.
line.
Right, so that was my question. So then the pool couldn't be moved.
Correct.
Okay, so then the pool has to be there.
okay. Yeah. So I don't know anything about pools, like I said, I don't know anything about pool sizes, but I don't view it as a hardship if you can get the 10 feet. I mean, you know, it is a 10-foot variance that we're asking for. If you can meet the 10-foot variance,
10-foot setback.
10-foot setback, sorry. If you can meet the 10-foot setback, then is it a hardship? That's just my question. Is it a hardship if you can find a way around it?
But you're asking to find a way around it for something so I think my thought process, right, is that this is what they want, right? And so that's why they're asking for the variance. This is the pool they want, this is the size they want, this is the deck they want. And to have that, they would need this 3-foot variance. Yes, you can say, you can have a smaller pool, you can have, but then that's not what they want,
Right.
right? And so I think that therein lies the difference.
Right.
And yes, you can argue that we all want stuff, but if you have an opportunity to have something, right? And all it's calling for is a 3-foot variance in only part of the yard, right? Just this section here, because
Right.
this is still up here. So and I'm just thinking, I'm just running through
No, no, I
this,
appreciate
but then
it.
I
You're
look
making
at,
sense. It
so
makes
then I
sense.
look at, let's look at the distance between the houses, right? So there's still distance between the houses.
Right,
It's not like that house is right next door to them and that 3 feet is going to be, right there, right?
Right.
Because there's still room there. So I think that's how we have to look at it. when somebody comes to you and they say, this is what I like, and you say, well, why don't you have this instead?
And that's why I'm asking for a
Right.
variance, because I wanna have this, and it's, yeah,
Right.
I get what you're saying, that makes sense to me,
So,
yeah.
but yes, I thought of all the same thing. I mean, I've run this over 1,000 times in my head and thought the same way,
Yeah,
so.
right, okay. So the Breakies are saying it is a hardship for us because we wanna have this pool.
Correct.
That's the word.
And this is the
reason
only
that-
location
and
that we
this
can
is the
have this
location.
pool.
And it is, I mean, that
So
is
I
the only
almost
location,
feel like it's almost like a uniqueness of property because of that sewer part. I probably would have gone with maybe that as opposed to the hardship, right? Because
Right.
that sewer section really creates, makes the property more unique because you only have a certain area to be able to build on.
Right. But under variance, both apply, right?
Well, yeah, but they're claiming a hardship. I'm just saying that the
Okay.
property
I understand,
itself
yeah.
with that,
I didn't know you had to claim one or the other.
I don't know that you have to, but they went with the hardship. I'm just saying, to me, I also see that with having that sewage part there, or the sewer, whatever it's called. What is it called? The sewer, what is it?
It's a sewer field and then the sewer replacement field,
Sewer yeah,
Right.
septic field, I'm sorry.
septic field, okay.
And it's like that, it's like the,
Right, so there's really not room to do that, right?
right,
So if you're saying, I would like to have this is the only place that it can fit, but to do that, I need to have this 3-foot variance. I'd like to ask for that,
right.
As
No,
opposed to,
I understand that, I understand that.
get a kiddie pool and put it on the porch. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
that's just how I
just
look
needed
at
to
it.
talk through the hardship portion of that, and I understand what you're saying about that.
So, do you you have other concerns?
I don't, I just needed to talk through that,
Okay.
the definition of that, how that applies. Do you?
Okay, no, I mean, I spend hours thinking about this stuff, so I'm not, this has been a month-long process for me.
Right,
Yeah, so then I would like to, end the deliberations. Are you ready to end the deliberations? Do you feel comfortable?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay, so I'd like to end the deliberations. Do you want to make a motion? Do you want me to make the motion? Okay. So we're on the same page, right? You're comfortable with granting the variance?
I'm comfortable with
Okay.
granting the variance, yeah.
So I would like to make a motion that we grant the request by Thomas and Lauren Brakey for a variance reducing the required yard setback for a swimming pool in a residential zoning district at 4020 Champion Tree Road. All in favor?
You need a second first?
Oh, okay, second, sorry.
I second.
Okay. So I guess we're all in favor, right?
all in
It's just
favor.
us, okay. So
So now
zoning
the-
administrator?
The next thing is, just to reiterate, that the motion is to approve the request for a variance for a reduction in the side yard setback from 10 feet to 7 feet at 4020 Champion Tree Road.
Yes.
Okay, so now you need a vote.
Now what?
Now you need the vote.
Oh, but I said that, we voted, right?
Okay,
Yeah, so I vote yes,
And I second.
okay.
and now all in favor?
Aye, yes. Okay, so then we'll adjourn?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so meeting is adjourned?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
Do we have to be in favor of it?
Aye. Well, we're not used to having
I
just the
know,
two
I
of
know, I
us,
get it,
right?
yeah.
So there's usually
I
three
don't
of
know.
us.